Welcome to Mastering JavaScript Functions, Creation and Usage. In today's lesson, we'll delve into the world of JavaScript functions. Much like a cooking recipe, functions provide the essential steps in our coding process. You'll learn about creating and invoking functions, passing values through parameters, and giving back results using return statements. Each concept will be explained clearly and paired with relevant code examples to make your learning journey engaging and relatable. By the end of this lesson, you'll be well-versed in the intricacies of JavaScript functions, shaping you into a more competent and confident coder. So, let's dive in. Let's kick off our exploration with a brief introduction to functions in JavaScript. Functions are like blocks of reusable code designed to perform a specific task every time they are invoked or called. You can think of a function as a subroutine that you can call whenever you want, eliminating the need to write the same code multiple times. For example, consider a scenario where you want to display a welcome message every time a user logs in. Here, you would write a function, in this case, say hello, and then invoke the function whenever a user logs in. Have a look at the code snippet on the slide. This is a simple function that, when invoked, will print hello world to the console. So, indeed, the essential feature of a function is reusability, writing once, using multiple times. That's the magic of functions in JavaScript. Now that we've defined a function, we need to invoke or call it to execute the code block it contains. Invoking a function is like dialing a phone number. The function won't answer or run until it's called. This is done by appending parentheses to the function's name. This step is analogous to joining a teleconference using a unique meeting link. The code won't run until the function is called, just as the meeting doesn't start until you click the link. So, in our previous example, to invoke the sayHello function, we simply write sayHello as you can see in the code snippet on the slide. This statement tells JavaScript to execute the code inside the sayHello function. And voila! Our function springs into action. Next, we venture into the concept of parameters. Parameters provide a function with the inputs it needs to complete its task. You can imagine these as the ingredients in a recipe. The code snippet on the slide shows a function greetPerson that accepts a parameter name. It then uses this parameter to output a personalized greeting message. When we call greetPerson Alice, we're giving the greetPerson function the ingredient it needs to perform its task. In this case, the name Alice. The ability to use parameters effectively breathes life into a function, enhancing its usability dramatically. It's like transforming a recipe that can only make a single dish into one that can create a variety of dishes. These parameters can come from anywhere within your script and add a level of flexibility to the function, making it adaptable to the needs of the situation. So remember, parameters are your function's best friends. They bring out the best in them. The return keyword in JavaScript is like the conveyor belt in a factory line that delivers the final product after all the operations on the assembly line are completed. When a function is done executing, it can return a value back to where the function was called. This value can be any valid JavaScript expression, a number, a string, an object, an array, even another function. On the slide, you see a function called square that takes an input or argument called number. Inside the function, it returns the square of the number. When we call the function with a value of 5, it returns 25. Just like how a properly run factory ensures the delivery of high-quality products, a function with a well-written return statement ensures that the correct output is delivered. Learning about the return keyword is a big leap in our JavaScript function journey, and you are doing great. The concept of scope is one of the more enigmatic topics in JavaScript. Simply put, scope determines the visibility or accessibility of variables and functions in some particular part of your code during runtime. In other words, it defines the portion of the code where a variable or a function can be accessed. The slide presents some useful code that illustrates this. The scope of variables can be global or local. A variable declared outside a function becomes global. Just like a cellular network, global variables can be accessed from anywhere in the code. On the other hand, a variable declared inside a function is local to that function. It's similar to the way your home Wi-Fi is only available within your home. This variable can't be accessed outside the function, just as you can't access your home Wi-Fi once you step outside. When we try to print the local variable outside of its function, it will throw an error, as you can see in the last line on the slide. So remember, you can't reach for what's not within your scope. Well done. You have just navigated through the maze of understanding functions in JavaScript. We started our journey by defining simple functions, then moved on to invoking or calling them. We gave our functions a touch of dynamism and flexibility through parameters and learned how to make a function deliver a calculated result using the return statement. We then explored the idea of scope, understanding that a variable declared inside a function is confined within that function, while one declared outside can be accessed from anywhere in the code, just like your home Wi-Fi versus a cellular network. Every step of this learning process sets a firm foundation for understanding JavaScript functions, and you've done an amazing job. Remember, becoming proficient in programming is just like honing any other skill, requiring both knowledge and practice. So let's keep going and keep coding. Kudos to you for your efforts.